So in this board gaming podcast, we're going to look at the nuts and bolts of literally gaming when it comes to components. And this is something that I've been seeing more and more, and I've kind of been wondering more and more, and it really does affect gameplay, how often something makes it to the table and under what scenario. So we've got a board game with a lot of pieces, miniatures, components, tokens, gold pieces, condition pieces, map pieces, character boards, cards. I'm essentially thinking about something like Gloomhaven on there. And I love Gloomhaven. Gloomy is an amazing game on there. Absolutely, literally game changer in the gaming community and kind of board gaming as a whole. Absolutely. But when you open Gloomhaven up, there is zero. There isn't even an attempt at a storage solution on there. So we have certain games that once you punch out all the pieces and components, they're never going to fit back, and there's no way to accommodate them in the main gaming board. Another example, I'm not talking about something like Dark Souls, where the miniatures have pieces in the tray, and there are some token components, but they're manageable and they're minimal, where you could bag them up, tie them up, and put them in with the miniatures on there. I'm talking about something like Gloomhaven, where just even bagging them up, it's almost impossible. Most people have gone towards Plano boxes or possibly cutting out the foam on there, but it's really a beast with organization. That's where we have literally third parties out there, Broken Token and things like that, creating these wooden constructs, which are ingenious, but another expense to the game on there. And some of these inserts are more than the cost of the game. Fireball Island. And then, of course, when you have Fireball Island and they release a new expansion, which they're doing now, it doesn't fit. What do you do on there? So games that don't provide in their research and design and their setup a place to stash their tokens and things like that, I find it really takes away from the game, because now, like Gloomhaven is not a game that I regularly bring to the gaming club unless it's planned ahead of time. There's a bunch of games that I will bring randomly, like Zombicide Black Plague, Blackstone Fortress on there, Massive Darkness. Maybe we'll play them, maybe they won't, but I can set them up pretty quickly even with the components on there. Gloomhaven, if suddenly people are like, hey, let's bust out some Gloomy, that cuts into like 30 minutes setup. Breakdown, 30, 40 minutes on there to do it right. I mean, I have an organizational system with bags and folders and containers, but that takes time. I'm not just going to all throw it into the box. So with that cuts into 40 minutes or longer of actual game time. So I find Gloomhaven is the type of thing where we schedule it ahead of time. Nothing wrong with that. It's the nature of the game. So this way I can set it up outside of game time. We can game, and then when game's over, I can put it away. I wonder if it would have been possible to create a solution to accommodate Gloomhaven within the box itself. A great example that does this on there, Kingdom Death Monster. The internals of the box let you lay out all the cards, let you accommodate all the cards. There's spots for the tokens. There's spots for the dice. It's literally like a command center where you're ready to go. It's like a broken token in there, ready to go. Facilitates not only setup and teardown, but as you're interacting with the game perfectly. And it has more than enough room. I have KDM 1.5, and I have all the expansions for it. They're all in there. All the cards fit, all the tokens fit, all the gear fits, everything's set, ready to go. Pathfinder the Adventure card game. Massive amount of cards in there. I'm talking the Rune Lords. With that, there's places for all the cards, all the dice, everything that you need is in one box. I really appreciate it when games are designed to at least somewhat accommodate this, even if it's not 100% sophisticated and slick. Something like Gloomhaven, just with the sheer amount of shipping costs in there to like make the box bigger to accommodate things, maybe that wasn't feasible. But what do you think out there? Pushing that out to the community, it surprises me in terms of game design how that is still lagging a little bit. We see back in the day where wargaming was the main hobby, and over time it was ported out to board gaming. Think about all the early Avalon Hill stuff, which was wargaming, but it was minus the miniatures, it was minus the setup time. It allowed you to play wargaming in a smaller, controlled setting. That spilled over into board games, and we see a lot of the earlier board games from the 80s where you and I going head-to-head. We're fighting each other, we're competing against each other, there's going to be a winner and a loser. It's very Monopoly-like. Then over time, they evolved. We see Descent First Edition, something where I'm the overlord, I'm the bad player, I'm going up against the group of players that are united together. So there's a little bit of collaboration in there, but it's still one versus many. Now we see games that are pure co-op on there. It's to the point, honestly, I have some games that I really enjoy, Overlord-type games. But I enjoy co-op games more and more and more where we are playing against the game AI or we're playing against the structure of it simply because gaming time is so valuable. I want to play with all my friends and new board gaming enthusiasts on there. So it's interesting to see how game theory has evolved, but game storage is still very much split on there, especially since I think more and more players, I think more of us, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe this is just thinking my meta is your meta and is the meta, I think more of us travel with games, whether it's going to stores or conventions or playing with our friends. Certainly we have people over our place to play, but I think a big component is bringing your board game and going to play with friends. So having that setup, having everything in there, in the solution, in the box, without having to go in another direction, I'd like to see more and more of that. Your thoughts on that? What games do it really well out of the box, literally? And what games are you like, wow, okay, I have to go and do third-party stuff, and even then, it's getting pretty crazy. And without having a storage solution, dedicated storage solution for some games, and look, it's not just Gloomhaven. Descent 2nd Edition, I've got all the expansions and stuff. It's a mess in there. I mean, I've had to literally get a massive Plano box just to accommodate it and try to make some sense of setup time, and even then, it's a bear on there. So your thoughts with that in board gaming?